Today we are going to try with all our strength and possible tools to see what's inside of the Unbreakable Nokia. This one is the original, not the one that came out later in the re-release, no. It's the Unbreakable Nokia 3310, released in September of the year 2000. At that time, I was still living in Piedad. I was taking a preparatory course, and I already had a cell phone. It was a baby, a Samsung, something like this. The big difference was that it played different songs when it rang. It didn't just beep, no. This little Nokia was invented by a woman, Lauren Tram Middleton, and it simply sold 126 million units. Just to give you an idea, the first iPhone sold 35 million. I think it was a success, but the cool thing is the memes that came up later. I'm looking here, there's, for example, they made a Thor's hammer with the phone. There's it found inside a fossil saying that millions of years later it was still found with 35% battery. Anyway, the fame of this phone here was to be more resistant than adamantium, and it's something in fact that we're gonna see today, if it's all that. I think the little guy deserves respect, huh? We bought a used one on the internet, and legend has it that it's working. So what you're going to see now is an anthological scene, a scene that will go down in the history, which is the Unbreakable Nokia powering on. I just need to figure out where it turns on. Good heavens, look. Sounds, games, calculator, reminders, clock. Let's play the snake game, right? Wow, this graphics. This is what you call an old school game. Forget Atari, man. This is a real game. What's even Atari? The legit one is the snake game on the Unbreakable Nokia phone. Look at the graphics on this thing, folks. A game that requires imagination to play. Who's gonna say that this thing here is a snake? Look at this. When you eat the food, it even bulges in its belly, like an anaconda eating an elephant. This is a reference to The Little Prince, folks. Do you understand the depth of this game? And as usual, I'm pretty bad, right? The game is already over. I was only informed just now that this phone comes with an instruction manual. And this manual has nothing less than 120 pages. Look at the complexity of this thing. I strongly support products coming with manuals. When you purchase a phone, it includes a manual. You buy a Pantone, it comes with a manual. You're born into this world, it comes with... You get it, right? Let's hear it ring then, right? Because, well, this phone doesn't do much besides ringing. So it even has its own number. Just imagine, Perula would be jealous of me at this moment. Surely he must have one older than this one here. Inside, there was no signal. Let's try out here. Listen to this cute ring. Back then, people didn't set their phones to vibrate. You would hear cell phone rings all day long. Cell phone ringtones are rarely heard these days. But it's time to see if this little thing can really take it. If the thing is as strong as the group says in these memes they send on WhatsApp. Legend has it that we used to put a case on this phone not to protect the phone, but to protect the floor. So we're gonna do 4 very hardcore tests here to see if the phone can handle it.
But Riberino, you just ran the grinder over the phone and it only made a tiny scratch?
Test number 1. Let's see if I can smash the phone with my hand. Not to brag, but I've been kind of strong lately, you know? If I can't, it's because this thing is really stubborn. It even makes some noise, right? It doesn't break. Alive and kicking. Test number 2, fall. Oops, the back cover came off, but I think the cover just comes off, right? This didn't break. Just need to snap it back on. It's back. You probably won't drop it from higher than this, right? Did it not withstand? It doesn't want to turn on. I think it won't make it, huh? Yeah, boy, there, it's working. Ready for test number 3, fire. Actually, it's with a lighter, because throwing a torch at a cell phone, it's a bit exaggerated, right? Let's see if it can withstand at least about 10 seconds here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look, the screen messed up, but the phone is still working. You could replace this part and keep using it. Let's go for the most radical one now. This is probably going to be the death of the Unbreakable Nokia. If it survives this, it can survive anything. Yeah, it stopped working now, right? There's even water inside here. It looks like an aquarium. An hour and a half in the sun. I mean, it still turns on, but nothing appears on the screen. The buttons stay lit. It's as if it had frozen. The procedure we followed after the phone fell in water was not ideal. It's best to let it dry for longer, using rice or silica gel to remove all moisture before turning it on, to avoid short-circuiting. Turning it on too soon with wet components may have already caused damage, preventing the phone from powering on. So there's a chance it might still be alive, but what I really wanted to do is perform an autopsy on this little guy. Wow. Look how many layers the cell phone has. The phone features an outer case, which could potentially be changed in color. I never owned this model, but Mari had a more modern version from around 2003 when the trend was to frequently change the case color. Then comes the keyboard rubber. The keyboard rubber goes through this acrylic cover that is here in the front and will trigger these buttons that are here at the bottom. On these buttons, it's very interesting to see that there are some small metal balls, and they are the ones making the contact here on this board, on the buttons, and at the same time, also the screen and the speaker are loose. Their contact is made directly on the board, just by touching it. There is nothing soldered. Ah, it's still wet here. Water is coming out on my hand. This here is the back of the board. Probably this here is causing a short circuit. It's going to turn on. 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 It turned on. We resurrected the little Nokia. In other words, it survived everything. Now that it's alive, we can kill it. The main board of the cell phone has a protective layer over the components that resembles armor. I thought this was a mechanical protection, but then when we saw how a tablet is made, I discovered it's not. This is to prevent radio interference on the components. After all, the cell phone is a radio, right? It emits and receives radio signals. The crazy thing is that on the back of the cell phone, all the modules are also not soldered. They just touch the board and make contact. Look, if we look closely, I can see here the chip module. Here I have a little vibracall motor. You can look at the end of it. It has that weight that is off center. Underneath, I have all the connections to charge the phone, the sound output. On this side here, I have the microphone. On top, there is the connection with the battery and the on and off button. I believe the top connections are from the antenna, not the power button, as the power button is located on the board itself, on top. I'm not going to destroy this little guy because I heard that you can connect Arduino to the Unbreakable Nokia screen. So maybe for our next video we could make some game, I don't know, display something here on the little screen. And I also wanted to make a shot with the remains of the cell phone, just like we did with that robot that almost defeated the rubber rat. If a billion years from now, ETs arrive on Earth and the human race has been extinct for a long time, maybe the only thing they'll find is this here. If you're in the vibe to see what's inside of things, one of the coolest things we opened is an X-ray machine. Believe it or not, there's no plutonium or uranium, but you can understand exactly how it works.